Hello, and welcome to Amputee for Life, created to focus on members of the limb loss community and those who support them. We will feature testimonials from amputees, family members, and professionals working within the limb loss community, and include strategies, ideas, and heartfelt stories in the hope of providing greater awareness around the lives of some of the most amazing and resilient people on earth. My name is Jared Taylor, and I will be your host.
Hey Kendall, how are you? It's Nick over at Hanger, man. Give me a call back here. Kind of wanted to schedule you for an adjustment I hear you need. Also, I wanted to confirm tomorrow's appointment at Miami. Thanks, man. Bye.
Write down 6 positive affirmations about yourself on a piece of paper. I am powerful. I am great. I am worthy. I can do it. I will achieve greatness. All these things. Write them down. And then you're going to read them out loud to yourself 3 times a day with energy and power and meaning and conviction. And then you're going to replicate that for 9 days in a row. By the 9th day, your DNA is in the beginning stages of being rewritten. You duplicate it again, you repeat that same process. By the 3rd time through this process, or the 3rd set of doing this, all of a sudden your DNA is completely rewritten. And this has been scientifically proven. By using this technique, you actually can begin to rewrite your DNA and even deactivate genes that are not good for you and activate genes that are good for you. Your body now has shifted into a whole new frequency. Your cells begin to celebrate as you move into a whole new direction.
You're probably wondering what you've been listening to. Well, I have a very special guest with me on this episode of Amputee for Life, and I just played a track from his new album. South Florida native, artist, independent label owner, husband, father, son, brother, burn survivor, and limb loss warrior. And his name is Kendall Spencer. Hello, Kendall. Appreciate you being here on Amputee for Life today.
Thank you for having me, man. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely, and really appreciate the fact that there's a 3-hour difference between us, me being here in Washington State and you down there in Florida. So again, appreciate you and your time today. So with the intro that I just gave, I really wanted to include a portion of the email that I received from you the other day. You reached out to me after listening to the Amputee for Life podcast, and you sent me an email explaining that you had a unique and deeply personal story that you believe could resonate with our audience. And this experience transformed your life in profound ways, you say, impacting your identity as a father, artist, and an individual. And you also stated, I believe my story could add value to your audience by providing both insight and encouragement for others navigating similar challenges. My hope is that sharing my experiences shows that there is a life after trauma and that we can rebuild ourselves in ways we never imagined. And so, of course, when I read this email, Kendall, I was more than happy to reach out to you as soon as possible. I wanted to learn more. I did see that I immediately, being an independent music label owner myself, I immediately went to your label on Bandcamp, Hidden Hand Society, and I looked at the Trauma Center Part 1. And like I just told you before we started this episode, I've been listening to it pretty much nonstop for the last two days. And the bio that you give for the album itself, which was released just recently, I guess just almost a month ago, October 14th, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
The Trauma Center Part 1, your bio describes the reason behind the album and express what you wanted to express in it emotionally and what you wanted to convey to any and all who heard it, whether they could even partially relate or relate wholly. What I'm trying to get to is that by listening to the Trauma Center and only speaking with you for about 3 minutes on the phone prior to this podcast today, I feel like I really know you. I feel like you were able to convey exactly what you tried to and what you hoped to in your message. And I know I'm doing all the talking here, but I'm going to give you the floor. But I do want to point out some things that really stuck out to me. And that is the lead track, The Coma. Some of your lyrics in that really are so relatable, and I know will be relatable to most, if not all, in our audience here and in our limb loss world, in our community. We've all experienced so much trauma and hardship and a roller coaster of emotions, the highest highs, the lowest lows. And one thing that I've always told myself was that no matter how bad my pain was for me, which went on for years prior to my amputation, um, it increasingly getting worse all the time, I would be reminded somehow that there are people out there in this world that have way more severe injury and way higher level of pain than I do, and they're making it, and they're making life happen, and they are realigned, and that is our mission every day. For some reason or other, we've been chosen to reset, redirect, and hopefully provide some kind of insight. Not that we're trying to be superheroes or anything like that, because we, through what we've experienced, and I'll speak for me personally, from what I've experienced as an amputee, it's really brought me down to the depths of depression and lowest self-esteem I've ever thought I never could imagine in my life. And but to come out of that and swim through the molasses, as I say, and get to breathing again, is just the greatest feeling ever. And rising above, and you, my friend, have risen above. And I know that it's not over for you. And I know that each day is a challenge, and it's going to continue to be. And but what you've made of it, from just listening to your newest album, I can tell you've come through, you've broken through to the other side. You spent 89 days in the hospital. You released October 14th of 2022. In that time, there were 25 surgeries, and to also include 2 weeks in a coma. You have a track on your new album called Positive Affirmation Skit. And in the info you wrote, the skit reminds us to counter negativity with affirmations, fostering resilience and hope amidst challenges. 89 days in the hospital. Were you having any positive affirmations at that point?
Believe it or not, I'm not gonna say it was positive affirmations, but I was very hopeful in that hospital. I was raised in the church, so I was raised to believe that there's a higher power and to lean on the Creator during our tough times. So when I was in that hospital, man, with just the news that I was going to lose my arm, because the doctors was telling me this the moment I woke up in the coma. I pleaded with them, like, please try to save my arm. I just had my youngest daughter 29 days before this accident. I say, man, I just want to hold my daughter. I haven't even changed 4 diapers yet. And they heard my pleas, and they operated and operated and operated. And I was, the whole while, I was just, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. I'm a strong person. I'm going to bounce back from this. I'm going to walk out of this hospital just with scars. So I kept telling myself, I was believing it. People would call me, pray with me. I would talk about that, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. My arm may not be as good as it was, but I'm going to be okay. But what happened in my case was I ended up developing infections. And it came down to, okay, Kendall, it's either this limb or your life. You can continue to have us operate on it, but we're going to come in this room. This is what a doctor told me. We're going to come in your room one morning and you're going to have a fever. And it's going to be almost about too late. So I had to make that decision, to just go ahead and let him amputate. But I kept believing, man. And once they did the surgery, it broke me down, man. It broke me to the depths as anybody would. You know what I mean? All of that faith, all of that positivity, it was gone. It was gone. It wasn't none of that left. I'm gonna be honest with you. I had to find it again. You know, I had to find strength in my children. I had to absorb their energy to keep going, because I didn't even want to be here. I was like, man, how am I gonna live the rest of my life like this? You know, I didn't see no hope. You know, I didn't have nobody to talk to. I didn't know nobody else that was an amputee that lost their arm, so I had nobody to relate to. I felt like I was on that island all by myself, in some words, you know.
I understand the the depths of despair and being completely unsure of how I would be able to move forward and be able to continue to take care of my children in my experience. But that was prior to my amputation. That was after my trail running injury in the 3.5 years that I was having surgeries trying to save my lower leg. And they wanted to take the whole leg, and I had to fight for months and months to just have them take below the knee. And had all sorts of out of state surgeries, and never getting better. And hearing that, you know, deep, dark voice, of hopelessness. And we work through that and we move on, and there's a light at the other end. And what I'm impressed about with what you've told me so far is your amputation was just part of your injury and the trauma that your body sustained. Am I right? I mean, what happened that day in July that led to this?
You know, mine was a work injury. I was an electrical lineman for about, I'm gonna say, since 2007, about the end of 2007 was when I got into this industry. So over the years, I worked myself up through the different stages, and I was a very safe employee. I was conscious of the danger. I never thought anything would happen to me. And I'm not saying that because I was complacent. I'm saying that because I practiced safety and I preached it every day on the job. Somehow on that day, I came in contact with the high voltage wire while I was up in the air working out of the bucket. I don't remember the details of the accident. They say once your body sustains such traumatic injury, your brain kind of shuts down to protect itself. I woke up in a trauma center out of a 2-week coma. One of the scariest things ever in my life. You know, waking up in a foreign place, not knowing where I was at. Doctors plugged up to all types of machines, and nobody would really tell me what was going on. Because it was working on the power lines, I sustained burn injuries too. And electrical burns are different. They don't burn from the outside in, they burn from the inside out. So I received burns, I want to say third and fourth degree burns to my chest and left arm. So I have to deal with that. And the burn side of things has been a lot worse than the amputee. Actually, it's ongoing. It's ongoing. Yeah.
I believe that because of the damaged nerves, and I understand, and that's why I brought it up, because I know that you have to rise above that pain every day. And my question would be, How do you increase your pain threshold to deal with that burn and electrical? I'm sure electrical storms a lot of the time.
Man, it's um an ongoing process of back and forth to the pain doctor, taking the pills, the opioids. Nothing helps. It's like I'm seeking um alternative medication now, trying to research and trying to figure out something else. I started reading this book called A Way Out, and it's about dealing with chronic pain, how a different way to look at it, trying to like unlock those signals in the brain. And with it being so ongoing, with the phantom pain from the amputation, and the aches and stuff of the burn, the tightness, I don't know how I'm dealing with it, man. It's just kind of, it's like I didn't put in my mind that, and I hope this not true, but I even told my pain doctor this a week ago. I was like, I feel like I'm gonna feel like this the rest of my life, and I just put in my mind that I guess I got to deal with this and just keep on moving. Some days are better than others. On the bad days, I don't hardly do much. And just doing everything I can to get through.
I understand that, and my hope is for you. What will happen is what had happened for me. Now, obviously, I didn't sustain such a tremendous injury in such a big portion of my body, but all of the nerve work and nerves that were taken out of my lower leg uh, throughout those multiple surgeries. And I'll be hitting year 9 as an amputee in December, and I think this last year is the year that I've had the least amount of like just sporadic, intense lightning storms that are that are electrocuting me and making my heart hurt and taking my breath away. I mean, I've lived with that for the last 8 9 years, and like it's getting better now, and I have that complex regional pain syndrome, which I think is the biggest reason for that. And that signal that you've been injured never shuts off, and it's that rare condition, and I've got it, and it's mystified the medical world, and they don't know how to treat it, and people live with it, and I guess that's kind of the only. I don't have any advice. I wish I had something to give other than I think that over time we either just adapt to it because we're such adaptable creatures and we have missions to accomplish, and or the pain does dissipate a little bit, but I'm not a huge believer in that yet. I don't believe that. I think we just get better at dealing with it over time because we just
Yeah.
keep ourselves busy and moving, and that's the idea. And I know there's a lot of people that have a hard time with that moving forward, and I know what it had done for me because after my amputation and multiple surgeries and actually finally getting better, I ended up going through my second divorce, which was difficult. When I had my amputation, my youngest son was just 6 months old. So we learned to walk at the same time. So basically, we have that bond. This is all he's ever known. But it did put a strain on my marriage, the years of me being out of work and not knowing what was going on, and just multiple surgeries, and just, it just things happen. So being out on my own was tough at first, but it's kind of made it better for me to be able to focus on my goals. I've tried to launch this podcast for 7 years now, and it's just now happening. And I'm grateful because I didn't give up, and I kind of, I'm not a quitter. Just get bombarded with life and pain, and so for our audience out there, I mean, the album. I want to get back to that real quick, and I thank you so much for sharing that sensitivity of what you've experienced and what you went through. And I know it's hard, and I know every day is so difficult, and you've got people that are relying upon you, and young people that look up to you, and I know exactly what it's like, and that's where I get my motivation and my inspiration. But I've gotten a lot of inspiration from you and your inspiration. Like on the song that you have called "Find Our Way," there's a line that really sticks out, and you mentioned it seemed to be 2 steps forward and 10 steps back. And as limb loss individuals, like no pun intended, it really is, like, we're stumbling around a lot and falling down and falling backwards. And I'm on a ladder a lot, and I definitely have almost missed my step because I just can't feel that foot or whatever. So, but it's the analogy of it is so true. But as long as we keep moving forward, no matter how hard, we are making progress. And all of a sudden, it's not 2 steps forward, 10 steps back. It could turn into 10 steps forward, 2 steps back. And so I understand that there's people that have a difficult time, including myself, and at different times of my life, not just with my amputation, but with other experiences I've had, a lot of hardships. I've been surrounded by a lot of death, a lot of family and friends. I've lost a lot of people, and I went into I was a firefighter and EMT here for many years in the county, and I've seen a lot of death and trauma. And at the same time, I worked in the emergency room as an emergency medical tech in the ER. So I was all things EMS. Um, and then I got out of that in 2009. Life changes, but I was surrounded in it, and there were a lot of times where I actually would be on scene as a duty officer at a collision on the interstate, for example, work the scene. The medics come, transport the patient to the hospital. I go change out everything, get ready, go to work, to the hospital, and then I'm working with that person that was in the collision. I'm working with them at the hospital, and maybe even working with them later on that week if they happen to stay longer. So I don't. The reason I brought that up is because you put a lot of time and effort into creating an atmosphere on this album that brings me personally right to the ICU, right to those high level emergency moments. It all flows. The whole album flows so well together because you take us on this journey, but it's not all dark, and there's so much hope, and there's so much light in it, and there's actually light in every single track. You hit the nail on the head, and the album is just full of everything that I love. There's just so much R&B and hip hop, and a lot of jazz influence and funk, and it's just got that right mix of psychedelic sound in it. It's very well done and very well put together. And as an independent music artist and label owner, Hidden Hand Society is the name of your label.
Yes.
How long have you had Hidden Hand Society?
I launched the label in 2021, January 4th, 2021.
And the reason behind it?
Since I've been in high school, it's always been a dream of me to have my own like record label. And I didn't do it in the past because I was trying to follow the traditional of just getting signed to a company. And then as I got older in life, I started, believing more in my own independence. And I figured I'll say, you know what, let's stop waiting on someone to do something for me, and let's do it for myself. So I launched that company, and it was one of the best things I did as far as like my music career, because that's what I have to fall back on right now. After my injury and not being able to work no more, still going through the whole process of it. When the dust settled, it was there. So that's why I just kind of like just put all my ducks in a row, and I'm just going full fledged with it right now.
Well, I also enjoyed your newest video, Determination, which I don't think is a track on the album, correct? It's something separate.
Yes.
And you're with your kids, and it's awesome, and it's got over 71,000 views, man. I mean, you're doing something right. People, you're getting noticed, and it's awesome. And I really want the best for you as you continue on this path forward with your music, because it seems like that's obviously taking a change, and I can relate to that because the music I was making prior to my amputation and everything is very different than I started getting more focused, and I wanted to because it became more of my journaling and my own therapy. Because, like we talked about on the phone a little bit last week, I mentioned that it's difficult to find support up here in Western Washington. I see a lot of amputees. We're just kind of here, there, and everywhere, and we pass each other by mostly. And so, you mentioned that you in South Florida have some groups that you're able to attend, and I just absolutely love it. And there's people that are in between it all. There's people that have that option, and then there's people that have, even are way out in the sticks and don't have anything at all. So hopefully, this is what this platform is for, to reach those that aren't able to connect with others in their local community. And this can be such a global effort. I hope that we can continue to just launch this, and what I'm doing and what you're doing, and hopefully inspire others to pull themselves up by the bootstraps and chin up and move forward, even though there are so many pitfalls still. And
Yeah.
we don't know what the future looks like. And people like you and I and others that are listening that have had accidents that have led to amputation, um, definitely understand that you never know what tomorrow is going to bring.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. And that's like what I sort of sought out to do, even with creating this album. I figured, I said, you know what, I want to be the voice for the voiceless, for the people that don't have that avenue, that feel like that they're alone, because we've been there and everything, and I knew that that was going to be my mission, even in the hospital. I used to have a psychiatrist come to my room. I still talk to this doctor today, and I told her, maybe a month into the hospital, I say, I'm gonna use my situation and I'm gonna help the next person. Back then, I was just meaning lineman that was injured on the job, because I didn't know that it would turn into speaking for amputees or speaking for burn survivors. I feel like we have a obligation, and it's a duty to help the next person get through it.
Amen. Absolutely agree with that. And you're right. These experiences we have transform us in profound ways and impact our identity. And some people don't come along for the quote unquote ride with us. Um, Maybe we're a little bit too powerful, too resilient for some people's liking. I have to tell myself that because of some relationships that ended after my amputation, and I I just realized, hey, I mean, because it was so weird. It was like, wait a minute, I'm better now. I mean, look what I can do. I mean,
I
I'm
know,
living
man.
again. What did you
I
want
know.
from me, right?
I know, man. Man, man.
The
You absolutely,
humanity.
you absolutely right about that, man. I don't get it, man. I shake my head about it every day. Like, people that you think should have been there, and they not there, and then you have to look and see on the other side is, okay, now look at all these other great people who have came into my life because of this. And I
Yes. So please, listeners, there are many of us that have experienced, if not all of us, have experienced the loss of quote unquote loved ones and true friends in the course of our limb loss birthing and living experience. And some are people that you would have never imagined would have stepped away from you or made you feel like you should go join the circus or hide away in a cave or whatever they did, however it made you feel. I felt all those ways. So, and that was just with one person. So, but honestly, we have each other. And I'm more than proud to always wear shorts and fly my quote unquote freak flag. And I love it when I'm through the years as I've been able to go to my son's school and volunteer in his class and at pick up and drop off. And the kids get to know me. They know that I've got a prosthetic leg. And it's just some of the funniest kids will come up with the funniest stories, and I love their at questions, and I don't mind it, and it's great. But it's all the parents that are like just kind of shying away and really don't talk, and they kind of don't know what to say to us. And I understand that because as someone before I was an amputee, and I was flying to one of my surgeries to keep me from becoming an amputee. I saw an amputee in the airport, and I approached him and sat down next to him and said, "Oh, hey, this is what I have going on." And he didn't really take it too well. He really quickly put his prosthetic on and walked away very, very promptly.
Wow.
And didn't really have much to say to me. And I think back, I'm like, hey man, you should see me now, right? We're twins, bro.
Yeah.
But I get it, because sometimes I don't want anybody talking to me about my amputation, and I don't want to have that light shown on me. But we learn how to manage that. I'm pretty good at knowing, conveying when I'm approachable and when I'm not approachable, and so. But with that being said, I'm sure. I mean, it's a lot harder to conceal that you have lost your upper limb as it is for me wearing pants. So many people say, "Oh, I would have never known." I mean, I have a slight limp, but I have a really good gait, and I'm grateful for that. But the awareness, and we take pride in ourselves. And I know there's a lot of folks out there that aren't quite at that level yet. So, would you have any kind of advice as far as that goes?
Yeah, I'm kind of with that for me. I'm kind of like at the beginning of it. I'm still in the stages of trying to hide it a lot. Even though when I'm out, I try to keep my head up and walk with that confidence. Like I go to the grocery store a lot, and I'm involving my kids with their schooling and stuff, but I'm still in that process of trying of doing a lot of hiding it. Like my prosthetics, I'm having a hard time with them. I really am. I don't like them at all. When I'm out in public, I hate the stares. I always been the type of person that's been like, I don't like to be seen too much. I don't like the attention, and this has brought a lot of attention to me. And I wish people would come up to me and be like, "Hey, man, what happened?" And over the 2 years, I had one person come up to me, and it made my day. I was like so happy to say, "Yeah, this and that, this and that," and they was just like, "Oh my goodness." And but I just have to
One person.
one person, man. A bunch of kids now, a bunch of children. The children are gonna ask, but I had one grown man come up and ask me, and I was just like, it made me feel good to even tell my story, because I wear the story like a badge of honor. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
I
Yes.
survived. You know what I mean? So I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed of my amputation. I'm not ashamed of my stub at all. And I guess it's more of a psychological thing. You have to wear it like a, I guess I need to take my own advice. You got to wear it like a badge of honor. You're a survivor. You survived something. We limb loss survivors, and put emphasis on the survivor part. You know, we're strong. What we show is strength. It's hard as I don't know what wearing a prosthetic or losing a limb. It's not easy. You see people walking around with all their limbs happy go lucky. That's easy. Imagine trying to get through life without that. So, I would just tell people just to, at first it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult, but just find that life and find that hope, and wear it proudly, because we still here and we still got a lot more living to do.
That's correct. I find that in the times that I speak with other limb loss survivors, such as yourself, I am I find as I'm filled with a sense of pride. I feel like there's instant camaraderie, and I like that aspect. But I truly draw from the strength of others that have it really hard in the limb loss community, and I don't, you know, I'm not always totally optimistic about what my future looks like. I don't know what it's going to be like as I get older. I do know that some things have gotten easier through the years for me as an amputee. Um, I've dealt I've dealt with many skin irritations and uh, cysts and ingrown hairs and all sorts of problems that have kept me from being able to don my prosthetic and confined me to my wheelchair and crutches, which really challenges my independence because I can only do so much, but I definitely will throw my wheelchair in the back of my truck and go do what I need to do. But to be honest, it's hard. It's hard to be out like that. I feel defenseless. And that's what I haven't liked about being someone who was really athletic and fit and could hold my own to becoming someone who could barely run across the damn street if a dog was chasing me. So I wouldn't be able to outrun a dog. So I mean, I have to take a different approach to things these days, but it, it's very challenging. We're obviously not going to be 100% moving forward, but we will do our best. And I wasn't going to tell this story, but I am going to say that as much as my second wife stood by my side throughout my from my injury on, it was a, a few years after my amputation. We were together for 8 years before my amputation, and then the 4 years of me being an amputee were very different in our relationship. And when we finally went to marriage counseling, she did state that she really just was couldn't accept me as an amputee, and that was the moment where I felt like all eyes of the world were on me, and all of a sudden I felt so ashamed of who I was and what I had going on, and I didn't wear shorts for a really long time, and I really struggled because here was the one person that I thought would never have thought that would come out of their mouth, and it did, and she might as well take a baseball bat to my knees, is what happened, and nothing against her. It was just it was a heavy load. She, like I said, was stood by my side and was very supportive throughout all those years. I don't know what changed. Well, I do know what changed. I changed. I changed for the better. And I don't know how many times I'm so grateful for what I've experienced. It sounds crazy, but I think my amputation has led me to be a better person. And I think it was much needed in my life and in the others of those who rely upon me to become a better person. Still, I have lots of growth that's needed, but I've taken this opportunity or challenge to create an opportunity to grow. And if we don't do that and we're stagnant, we're not going to get anywhere, whether we have limb loss or not.
Yeah, yeah, me too. I feel the same way too, man. I really feel like this has made me a better person, a better man. You know, I know it has. Contrary to what some people may say, but I feel like it has. And I'm with my children every day now, seeing everything. Before, all I did was work. That's all I did. I rather work than really been home, and this has put a lot of my life in a better perspective, and I see things so different, and I appreciate everything. Even though I'm in pain, I still appreciate my life, you know, and I appreciate being here and everything, and I don't take it for granted at all.
No, I don't get that from you at all. And in your video, determination with your children by your side, it is obvious how proud of you they are and what a guiding light you are to them. And I, I know that's never going to change. That's what I experienced with my children. Our bond has gotten stronger, and it will for you as well. And I think there's nothing greater in the world. Was there anything else that you wanted to let our listeners know today, Kendall, related to your story, or if there was something that you want to part with? But I definitely want to thank you so much for, again, reaching out to me, and it has really put me on cloud nine the last couple of days. Looking forward to having this conversation with you because I knew that it would be great, and you are a wealth of knowledge and experience, and you're just working through it day by day like the rest of us, and you're a great example of determination and fortitude and resilience. And that's what I think most about the amputees that I've met is the resilience that I feel and sense within each and every one of us.
I think that's about it. I'm definitely happy. Like I said, I hadn't been seeing your messages on the message board of the Amputee Coalition for a while, and I'm so happy that that morning I just finally said, you know what? It was even before I carried my kids to school. I said, you know what? Let me get this message together and reach out to him. I didn't know if you would reach back out, but I'm so happy you did. Just meeting you, talking to you, hearing your story too is it's been a lot to me because you know we have to draw off of each other's strength. You know what I mean? And that's just it means a lot to me, and I'm happy to be a part of it. Of your podcast, I'm hoping you know that I can help it grow, and I look forward to you know seeing it get bigger and bigger. You know, I'm just still in my recovery process. I'm continuing to record new music, release new music. I actually put out a new video today, so it's a new video on my YouTube channel. Anybody that they can look it up. It's youtube.com/strongarmkendall. That's my YouTube channel.
Where else can people find you, Kendall, and your music?
The easiest way I'm on all social media platforms, or you can just Google Kendall Spencer's music, and a link will come up, and then from there you can just go down that rabbit hole. I will provide you with some links. I have a link tree with everything already on it. Oh yeah, I do have a website now. HiddenHandSociety.com. It's still in the developmental stages, but it's active and everything. So I'm gonna be moving everything over there to where people can just go on there and be able to find me and everything.
Excellent. That's so cool. And also, where I looked at you was Kendall Spencer at Bandcamp, and you have it seems like your whole library up on Bandcamp, which is a great
Yeah.
platform to find music. And yeah, man, it's just keep it up because I was going to ask you what's in store for the Hidden Hand Society, and to find out there's a new video. I'm going to check that out tonight. I'm really stoked, bro.
Yeah, I got on. Like I said, I just recorded two videos. I put out the first one today. I'm gonna release the other one next week. The Trauma Center album was two parts, so the second part should be available at the end of this month. Like I said, I'm just working, man. Trying to push myself as an artist and just stay busy because that's just the one thing I don't want to do is just sit around and have an idle mind because that's when those thoughts will come, you know, and I don't want that for me, you know. I want to continue to grow and continue to move forward.
Well, that's obvious, and and I'm thankful for that because this is great stuff. To find out that the part two is going to be released at the end of the month, I'm looking forward to that as well. It's going to take a while to digest part one. There's a lot there, which is nothing bad. It's just it's incredible, incredible work. And I want to thank you for allowing me to use some of your music today. And with that being said, I think that I want to go ahead and close out this episode with your track "Find Our Way," because I think that's pretty appropriate for us today, and to get us launched off into whatever our audience is doing, whether you're going to bed or getting up or whatever it is you're doing right now. Hopefully this will inspire you to, keep your head up, keep your chin up, and know that you are not alone. And we appreciate all that you have to do, and understand a lot of times it's just hard enough just to get out of bed in the morning.
Yes. Yes.
So, Kendall Spencer, I want to thank you so much for being here, and appreciate you. And I look forward to seeing the growth and the progress that, and the heights you're going to reach, actually, because I can see it.
Thank you so much, man.
Hang in there, and best of luck with the pain.
You too, man. And anytime you need me, anytime, I'm always available, man.
And vice versa. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, all right. Thank you too, man. Fucking doctors just left my room. It's Kendall. Nurses just got through doing my dressing change. Reporting to you live from the trauma center. I got Dilaudid in my system. The third floor, room 302. Morphine. Staring out the window. About 12 o'clock at night. My elevation deserves a celebration. Look how I persevered through that situation. Wasn't nothing waiting but desperation. I wiped the dust off of me, stood up, tied my boots, and got to racing. This game of life come with hard times and strife. I need to fast, cause shit ain't been going right. Ever since that night I woke up to that phone call. Is there happiness for us after all? It seemed to be 2 steps forward, 10 steps back. I'm fighting hard to stay on track. I put the campaign on my back 18 years ago, but they forgot about Kendall. If I reach my goals, I bet the phone start ringing, yo. It's funny how people act like they got your best interest, but they really pretending like I can't see that fake shit in them. I was born with this gift, loose lips ain't ships. But what about these AK clips? If I wave this pole at them, they stand at attention, like saying the pledge to the flag. Another day, another dollar. Hard times make a grown man holler. Through struggles we'll find our way. In this journey, trials I face. Amongst the chaos I stand strong. Another day, another dollar. Hard times make a grown man holler. Through struggles we'll find our way. In this journey, trials I face. Amongst the chaos I stand strong. I'm raising my son to be a king like his granddaddy. Both hands on his gun, on his shoe when his hands steady. August and the beast, I run through the production. Like Sakari Richardson, you don't like my shit, then you tripping. I grew up on this town, egg water, hot grits in the kitchen. Used to work 7 days a week, sacrificing time for money. That's right. The devil had a hold on. I woke up from that 2-week coma. I saw hell's demons, nightmares, people screaming. Nurses came to do my dressing change. What the fuck you know about pain? My name will be on the wall with the greats. Hard work changed my fate. Grown man holler, echoes of strife, but we keep pushing on, embracing life. As the sun sets and the shadows grow, another day, another dollar to show. Hard times make a grown man holler. Through struggles we'll find our way. In this journey, trials I face. Amongst the chaos I stand strong. Another day, another dollar. Hard times make a grown man holler. Through struggles we'll find our way. In this journey, trials I face. Amongst the chaos I stand strong. Another day, another dollar. No more drinking out of bottles. Liquor drinking, trying to solve my problems. Mind clear, seeing everything. Feel good to be sober.
Thank you for joining us today on Amputee for Life. Please stay tuned for our next episode. Until then, stay well, be safe, and please remember to enjoy the little things.